We're recording. Hello, everyone. My name is Orlin, and I'm the community manager. Today is July the 14th, and the meeting is under the Code of Conduct of CNCF. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to share my screen with the agenda for today. I can see a few folks added topics, Alex and Daniel. So before we do that, there we go. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep, great. So before do that, please, everyone, add your topics if you want to discuss them. And with that one, Alex, go ahead.
Hey, Daniel, do you want to talk about the issue first? The notary issue?
Sorry, I was talking when I was mute. Yeah, I can start first. Can you let me share my screen, please?
Yeah, I'll stop.
Actually, I want to talk about two issues. One is not included in the agenda, but first I'll talk about the one that is in agenda. The issue number is 14932. We've noticed an issue that was introduced when we bump up the Go compiler to use Go 1.15 to compile Notary. You may encounter an issue that when you try to sign an image whose repository key was created in previous version, you will see an arrow that Notary tells you. Let me find it. I think it's here. Notary tells you that the key does not exist. Here. Yeah. The reason, the root cause for the key for this problem is very detailed, discussed in this issue 14932. The root cause is that there is a misuse in a library that was Notary uses, and it cannot decode a key that was encoded when it's using Go 114. So after we bump up to Go 115, it failed to decode the key that was encoded in previous version, which was compiled by Go 114. The root cause is the key unwrap check failed, but Notary failed to report the correct error, so you will see an error like the key is not found. To fix this issue, we have to, because we cannot fork Notary's code and bump up the dependency due to the complexity. So we decided to roll back to use Go 1.14 to compile Notary until Notary fixes this issue. Therefore, if you are using Harbor 2.2.0, 2.2.1, 2.2.2, and 2.3.0, and you created a key when you are signing the image. When you bump up to 2.2.3 or 2.3.1, you will see another issue, same as before, because there is another break change we introduced. The key cannot be decoded again. We believe this is the right thing to do, because when we roll back, you can decode the key that was created in earlier versions. Hope you are still following me. And to work around that, we mentioned in the release note that there is a workaround. You will have to remove the key and use and sign the image again, such that the key can be regenerated. So this is the issue 14932. In short, there's a break change we introduced in 2.2.3 and 2.3.1 to fix this issue. So I hope that explains the problem. Is there any comment? And if no comment, I'm going to talk about another issue that was discovered in 2.3.0.
Sorry, Daniel. Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, just one thing I want to ask is, once the user deletes the record in the database, so are there any ways allow the user to recreate the key?
Yes. Notary will, when you sign the image, you will force to recreate the key.
So user have to push the image again, or any other operation can achieve that?
Now user need to push it again. I think that's the only workaround. Is Yan around? No, he's not. But I think yeah, that's a workaround.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And the other issue is regarding OIDC. This was a bug introduced when we are refactoring the API in 2.3.0. The symptom of the problem is that when you use this CLI secret to log in, when you use Docker CLI to log in via the CLI secret by OIDC, it may happen that when the token is refreshed, the a column, a sub issue is flushed to empty due to a bug. And give me a second. So it's possible that when you log in via this OIDC Web SSO workflow, you will see an issue like fail to create user record, the user name or email already exists. The reason is that Harbor will think the user was not onboarded via OIDC because the sub issue is empty. And so when you try to log in again, Harbor will try to create a record in user table first, and there you will see this conflict error. We are currently working out a PR to remediate this problem by restore this sub issue data by decoding the token in the database. So you can take a look at this PR. It's still under review, but the general idea has been verified and tested. So when Harbor start up, it will try to get the record whose sub issue is empty and try to decrypt the token that was stored in database and restore this column by decoding the token and fetch this correct data and update the record. So this patch will be applied in 2.3.1, which is scheduled to release hopefully next week. Yeah, so that are the two issues that I want to mention. So stay tuned for the patch releases. Any questions?
And when is the patch release?
I think it's scheduled next week. If this the review goes fine and we have all the fixes merged.
Okay.
But that's only for the OIDC authentication. Okay. I'll pass it to you, Alex.
Yeah, sure. All right, let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. So we finished 2.3, or we released 2.3, and so we're going through 2.4 right now. So if you head over to the project board, right, from the main project, there's a project board here. You click on that. You can look at the items that are in planning for 2.4. So we're trying to finalize list. And so I wanted to talk about some of the issues that we're planning to tackle in 2.4. And so 2.4 would be the last minor release of the year for us. Right, so we're looking at, sometime before KubeCon for the release. We're gonna try to have an RC build for KubeCon, as we usually do, and then the actual GA will come out a few weeks after that. So the first thing is we're going to be deprecating the project level robot accounts. So in 2.3, I'm sorry, in 2.2, we added this new type of robot account that you create under system admin that allows you to configure the projects that this robot account is tied to, right? So instead of creating it under the project admin, the system admin will create system level robot accounts. So the goal was always to deprecate project level robot accounts at some point and just only have a system level. So we're gonna be doing this in 2.4. So moving forward, you're only gonna have system level robot accounts. Just need to make sure, as you upgrade those existing robot accounts, are taken care of. So any questions on this?
Yes. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent, thanks. So regarding this, currently a project administrator is able to create project level robot accounts, of course, and that's quite handy for us. But our system level robot accounts, is it possible to scope them so a project administrator can create a robot account that can act on scoped to just the project that the project admin has access to, but not create, for example, privileged accounts for other things than the particular project they have access to. Did you get my question?
Yeah, I got your question. Yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, so you're saying that you still want to use project admin to create project level robot account. Is that your question?
I would prefer it if my users could create robot accounts by themselves.
Yeah, could you please open an issue to ask the question, because the guy want to implement this feature is not in this meeting. However, I believe the project level robot account API will remain. The only thing that will not work in 2.4 is the a V1 robot account whose password is a JWT token. If you have that kind of robot account, it will no longer work. But you can still create a new robot account on project level. I think that's my understanding of the plan, but I would suggest you open an issue to double check.
Should I create a new issue or just comment on this one?
If you can, just comment on this one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Just one comment is here. What we try to deprecate is the legacy
Yes.
project level account.
Correct.
I think, yeah, I think that's a fair request. But I think it was always, the goal to have system level robot accounts moving forward.
Yeah, but
Is
that's
there-
a valid use. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm just trying to think, as a part of the upgrade, is it possible to have, as part of the upgrade, is it possible to make those project robot accounts, to turn them into system level robot accounts? But
No, I mean the legacy robot account whose password is a JWT token, we have made decision that we will not upgrade them because we leave them for 2.3 so that user can, handle them before 2.4. But if user use the new API to create the project level robot account, they will still work because under the hood, they are all system level robot account. It's just that their scope is limited within one single project. That's the only difference.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right. So that's the first issue, and then the second one is we're going to try to add some kind of a distributed tracing capabilities to Harbor, so you can trace a request. This really came out of performance enhancement needs, right? We're trying to identify the bottlenecks within Harbor today, as the request makes its way through various components of Harbor. So I think what's being discussed here is adding open telemetry to Harbor, and then you can, scrape this data and dump it to something like Zipkin or Jaeger for further analysis. I don't know if is Dunqian here. He is the implementer of this feature.
It's not, but I think we discussed it. But one thing we need to confirm is that if we implement this feature, it has to be distributed. Otherwise, if you just want to profile the performance within one process, there's no difference if you just enable pprof and analyze it. Yep. So we need to find real valuable case for the distributed tracing. But yeah, I mean, Chen has did some good POC, so we have figured out how to do that. We just need to find valuable use cases because you need to do a lot of editing to code to inject everywhere to make sure, it send this open telemetry data around.
Yep. So the next one is integrating 6-store cosine into Harbor. So Harbor today uses Notary, so an open source project called Notary for signing images. And the biggest issue with Notary today is that you can't replicate a signed artifact from one registry to another, right? So from Harbor to another Docker registry like Harbor or some other cloud registry, perhaps. When you sync an image to a different instance, the signature is lost, right? And this is by way of how signatures are designed in Notary today, right? Which is when you push the image with Docker Content Trust turned on, it's basically just an ACK in the Notary DB. There's no physical, not physical, but there's no, the signature is not an attribute of the image per se, or it's not something that's attached to the image, right? It's just an entry in the database. And Notary has been working on this thing called Notary, or they've been working on the next iteration of Notary called Notary V2, which is for this multi-registry type of setup. And so we've been participating in those discussions. We've been following along for quite some time now, but it's been brought to our attention that there's another project called Cosine, led by some of the folks at Google. And this is an alternative method of signing images, right? And this can potentially help us solve that request, or that request of replicating a signed artifact from one registry to another, and being able to preserve that signature, so you can make sure that the image you replicated is indeed the same image. So we're not going to be, like I said here, this is just an alternative way to do it, right? We're investigating how to integrate Cosine into Harbor. So as a user, you can choose the signer you want, but yeah, the biggest difference here, to my recollection, is the Cosine will actually produce an artifact. The image is an actual artifact that is produced by Cosine, and it's when you push that to Harbor, you have to push the image as well as its signature, right? And the Harbor has to perhaps do some kind of verification. So the same sort of functionalities that we have today, right, around blocking or gating image pulls from Harbor based on the signature profile of that image. Those requirements are still outstanding, and it's just for us to figure out how Harbor can verify the signature, and because there's a separate artifact from the image itself, a lot of the policy management capabilities that we have today, how would those apply to the image, to the signature, right? Those are some of the questions that we were thinking about. Is there anything else you can think of, Daniel, that's worth mentioning?
Yeah, I want to mention that it's possible we only have a concrete design when 2.4 is released, and we'll see because there are so many parts moving, so we are not sure if we can finish the end-to-end and make it a concrete use case by the timeline of 2.4, but we'll try. Just stay tuned. I think Yan is also working on this. He will update with some progress in the subsequent meetings.
Yep, that sounds good. Yeah, so we don't know what the final experience is going to be like, I guess. It's because it's so new. The project is very new, right? And we've been following its progress, and we're just kind of testing it out, and I guess providing an alternative. We're not moving away from Notary, right? Notary V2 is still ongoing, and they're trying to solve this problem as well. So just stay tuned and find out.
Yeah, I think the biggest value for this change is that you will be able to replicate the signature when you replicate artifact. That's
right.
Asked so many times.
Yep. All right. Yeah, this is an issue with the existing scans within Harbor today, which is a lot of operating systems that can't be scanned by the scanner, it shows up as where is the specific? it shows up as having no vulnerabilities, I believe, instead of, you know, accurately reflecting that it's not covered, or it's not or that, you know, it's not really recognizing the OS or the distro. And so, you know, we have to work with the scanner vendors and the scanner adapter that we provide to make sure that this is fixed. It's just something people have been complaining about, and absolutely, I think this needs to be fixed. So let's see here, replication. Yeah, so this is basically, there's no way to, in the current replication rules, there's no way to specify a list of exceptions, right? Sometimes if you use like a double star, for example, it covers everything. There's just no good way to tell Harvard not to replicate a specific image when it fits, when a tag fits the filter set under the replication policy, right? This is just another additional field that you can use to perhaps specify a list of you know, single images or a series of images that you don't want to be replicated. And then, you know, there's a larger problem that there are various fields here within Harvard today, right, for different policy management. So replications and retention policies and immutability policies, and they are not 100% consistent. And so the second part of this will be, you know, making sure that they are consistent. And then we're going to be finally trying to add support for regular expressions, proper regular expressions. So you can use everything that, you know, you're accustomed to. So this is going to be a fix in the next minor, and then the regular expression support will probably come after that in the 2.5, I think. Yep. Vulnerabilities export feature. I think this is asking for, you know, a way to export vulnerabilities, scanned vulnerabilities from scanned images within Harbor, right? A single click on the UX that allows you to export everything. So this is going through a UI UX design right now. We don't know what the final experience will look like, but this is the idea, right? And I think, you know, I think as a project admin, right, my ideal experience would be, if I have a lot of projects within Harvard today, I don't want to have to go into every single project and then export a separate file, right? I want to be able to one-click export all of the images or the scan results of the images that I have access to. So I think, you know, this feature, whether we make this, whether we, you know, surface this functionality at the project admin level or the system admin, I would like this to be tied to my permission, right, to my RBAC in that sense. So yeah, if you have any input here, if you've been using Harbor for a while and there's a specific experience you're after here, to make, you know, exporting CV data much easier, please add it to this ticket. Again, you can find everything that we've discussed today by looking at the project board, right? So again, it's here, and this is in the rightmost column right now, called 2.4 product suggestions. So this is pretty straightforward. And then, yeah, this is just an issue in Harbor today to be able to stop image scans. Is there anything else you can think of? Daniel or Jiaoling or anyone else on the call, one of the maintainers?
I think that's pretty much everything I can remember.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything at all regarding 2.4 or just this issue?
Anything else regarding 2.4? I didn't catch the last part, sorry.
Or did you only ask about questions for this particular issue that we see right now?
Anything about 2.4 is fine. Yeah,
Okay,
anything about Harbor is fine. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I do have a question. I've read about your goal to deprecate Chart Museum as part of the 2.4 release. And in my project, we have recently started using Harbor, and we're fairly happy with it. But we are quite worried about this change. And there are a number of different things. Many of them have been brought up in the discussions on GitHub. But there's one point that I think is particularly important that I want to get some response on. This is, I think, clearly breaking change to the API. People that have implemented workflow today using Harbor, pushing images or pulling images, Helm charts from Harbor, they will have to change their implementations because the API will change. So this is indeed a breaking change, but yet you include it in a minor release. So I'm wondering, either are you explicitly not following the semantic versioning standard of naming, since there are other version schemes out there that are fine to use. But if you are using semantic versioning or intend to do, have you realized that this is a breaking change that have been announced to be included in a minor release?
That's a good argument, I have to say. And yeah, I think we hear this concern and comments regarding from the community regarding removing the Chart Museum. So I would like to clarify that by deprecation, it doesn't mean that we are going to delete it. If you want to use it, it will still be there, and the API should still work. But I think we will provide very limited support if you see issues when you're using the feature in Chart Museum. Because we have noticed numerous issues in Chart Museum project, and we don't have bandwidth to fix it, and the maintainer for Chart Museum is not very active. So yeah, that's why we really did discuss if you want to remove it. I hope we can remove it, but yeah, I mean, the reality is people still love to use it. So we decided it will remain. Yeah.
I definitely feel you. It would be such a nice thing to have OCI instead. And I'm not going to go into the other issues. I think they are mentioned in fair bit in the discussions. But then I think I had misunderstood. I thought it was deprecated in 2.3 and removed in 2.4. But what you're saying is that it is possible to still use it in 2.4, just that you're not going to like add features to it or stuff like that.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And that's
originally we scheduled it to deprecate it in 2.4 back to do the 2.2. Recently, we have opened the discussion in the community and a lot of feedback. We have noticed community still allow this and want to use this. So we have also discussed again, And just like Daniel mentioned, we will keep this function still here. Users can still use it, but we will with limited support for it. And we also welcome if in case the issue found in for Chat Museum, we hope the community can also work on those issues to fix that.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. That's much less severe than I thought. So that's good. Thank you.
I have a
Go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead, Steve.
question for you. From your perspective, I mean, how long does it take for you to move to the OCI chat support from your perspective? If you want to move, or you don't want to move it completely?
Well, we definitely are excited to move to OCI, but our customer is very keen on using stable released features, and OCI support in Helm is not stable yet. It's still experimental. So we cannot implement it fully for our customer before Helm have implemented it. Once they have implemented it, I'm sure we will be able to solve it in a matter of weeks. Not a big deal. But if we were forced to use the feature today, our biggest problem with it would be that Helm does not have stable support for it yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we have discussed previously that because we have deprecated the Chat Museum, right? So we would like to put more effort to fix the Helm itself to support OCI. So I think that is our future direction, even though we are not going to remove it, but our future investment will be more on the supporting OCI in the Helm side. So I hope this is very clear. So maybe you guys can also contribute from that angle.
Yeah, that's great. We're happy to contribute when there's things that we can help with. It's great to hear that you are open for contributions, and I'm looking forward to joining the effort.
Thank
So,
you.
Okay.
so I have a question about your question about Semver. What? So how is this not respecting Semver? How is this different from the robot account, for example?
Because there is certain API that only works with Chat Museum. Yeah, I understand. There is some /chat part repo stuff, and if we remove Chat Museum, those APIs will not work.
Okay, got it.
To be honest, I actually suspect that the change with robot accounts also is incompatible with this. It's just that I hadn't caught that you were to deprecate those in this minor version, so I hadn't prepared mentioning it. But
the robot account, I mean, the robot account is compatible. We discussed it. Yeah, I mean, we want to make sure that it's compatible. It's just some old data will not work. I hope that helps.
You can look up, there's an issue in the repo that basically it's an issue with Chat Museum, and we, like Daniel said, we're not able to get properly supported on an upstream, right? And we've had this experience with Docker distribution previously, as well as with Notary. If we're dependent on something that doesn't get the right amount of attention, we have to wean ourselves off it. Basically, we have to seek another solution or become more independent of that, right? And so that's kind of the problem with Chat Museum is not like a trivial one, right? It's as you scale the number of charts, it has performance issues, and we're not able to get a conversation started even, right? We're not getting any kind of feedback on the issue. And so I know that this is a big change, right? Especially for people, like you said, right? Especially for anyone that has built products around it, and they're leveraging it pretty heavily. But yeah, I mean, we weighed the pros and cons of each. And so that's kind of the direction forward. And so like Danielle said, it'll still be there for 2.4 perhaps. I wasn't too sure on that, but I thank you, Daniel, for clarifying that. But you can still use it in 2.4, but it's not going to be supported very well by the Harbor team. So we have to make sure we get this message across in the release notes as well.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
Maybe not. I have a general discussion to add about the community. There was an idea to stream the community hours, the community meetings and the office hours via YouTube, because people are not feeling okay joining in, actually actively participating in the meetings. So what do you think, folks? Does that make sense? So we can stream and at the same time join over Zoom if you want to actively participate in the meeting?
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
But does it mean that we need to reply the comments on YouTube?
Yeah, is that?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
someone needs to do that.
Yeah,
It's like
but
TKGI, right? Is that the format you're thinking of?
yeah,
Okay.
but in our case, that's like more like a real conversation that we have right now, and TKGI is more like a single person show.
Right, exactly.
So
But there are people that are going to be in the channel, in the chat, right, and asking questions. And
yeah, but if they want to ask question, we have to encourage them to join the Zoom and to be real participants, and YouTube to be only for like a read only viewers, if it's more accessible for someone. So it was an idea that I think Valero are doing this for a while, and we can give it a try if the community feels okay with this one, and see how it goes. Just
Is that true? I just joined the Valero community meeting today. So those are streamed via YouTube, you mean?
I think so. Jonas?
No, not the Valero ones. The Octant ones are.
Oh, Octant.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry for that.
Thank you, Jonas.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Olin, we still have an agenda today. Can you open that agenda? We have we have Daniel Moninigo from Aurora originally work on the ARM release for Harbor. We invite him to provide some update for the Harbor ARM release.
Give me a sec to share that. Can you? Yeah, you're talking about this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no link to any issue or PR.
Yeah, no link. I think Daniel Moninigo will provide some update, only update.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
Okay. So nice to be here again. It's been a few months since our last update, so I'm coming today to bring some updates on the multi-arc, the kind of proposal, and on the ARM release side. First of all, like from the last time we talked, for at least we updated things here. We had a few questions on the proposal. Actually, the proposal is still open on GitHub. We still have the pull request there open, and we kind of moved a little bit towards a maturity level kind of integration for new architectures. I'll try to share my screen. Sorry.
Oh, so bad. I still have some problem here with references, but I'll try to share it.
If you want, I can share. Just
Sure. I'll put the link on the
in
the
the chat,
chat.
please. Yeah.
So this is the yeah, I sent it. This is the proposal.
Second, and I'm sharing. There you go.
Okay, so this is the proposal. We actually changed a little bit from the beginning towards more like a maturity level, or how new architectures are integrated into Harbor. There's still lots of comments in there. It's a little bit not so much activity here, but if anyone has any questions or has any insights or ideas, you're welcome to add new comments. I think the most gross part of the proposal is ready, so we would like to push it to integrate as soon as possible. We have discussed a little bit, because from this first time we pushed this change, we changed a little bit the direction towards this, like I said, like a more maturity level kind of process and how to integrate new architecture. So it would be really nice to have more folks like looking into it. The second part we want to update today is that I'm sending the second link. We already started to work on how to build ARM 64 releases. It's still a working process. There are a few things that we are still adjusting in the repository. We have a pull request here that we're still working on, but we can already build ARM images. It works. We tested it on our servers, and it works okay. We still have one issue that is not solved, that's regarding Redis. Redis has a kind of an issue using Photon as a base image, that when running in Arc in ARM, it doesn't work very well. So we in our local tests, we changed to use the Redis library image, and it works okay. And we already I see that there's an effort to talk with the Photon members to fix this issue, and we'll keep posting updates as soon as we have more. This is a blocking issue for us right now. And since once this blocking issue is fixed and this pull request is merged, all the changes are okay, then we'll start to work on automate like changes, automate testing for ARM releases. And once that infrastructure and the process is all built up, and we will start to bring up to speed with the upstream with the AMD 64. That's most of it. Welcome anyone that wants to participate and have any questions on it.
Hey, thank you, Daniel. I have a question on it. Can you perhaps share, some data on the usage of Harbor for ARM? What is the expected usage, and just what kind of deployments are you looking at? Why is this important?
Yeah, so ARM is becoming like more and more mainstream outside. Like you can see now, you can deploy servers using AWS and other cloud providers. And it's getting up to speed, and maybe even for some kind of using Raspberry Pi or some local development is also very useful. we currently in Alauda, we have a kind of a big demand on Harbor as distributed as an ARM artifact. We build this internally. We kind of did change a little bit of the source, did some source code change to build it internally, and that's why we actually contributing to make it into the as an official package. Currently, I cannot say for sure the numbers exactly, but the demand is quite high for us. And we expect to, once all those issues are fixed and all those blocking issues are solved, we expect to release a 2.3 release and from them forward.
Okay, thank you. And do you want to just, introduce, maybe say a few words about Alauda and how you're using ARM? I'm not sure everyone here knows Alauda.
Oh, sure. So Alauda is as a company in China here. We work with container technologies to help our customers to embrace cloud native technologies. We have also a few other projects in the CNCF community, like QOVN, which is a CNI as a network plugin for Kubernetes. And we still have some other projects in line, and we expect to have a few more projects open sourced soon. We work generally with Kubernetes and Kubernetes-based solutions in kind of platform as a service product. We have quite a few customers here in China. We're very proud to actually serve Harbor as one of our solutions.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Just one question is, are there any, rough date for the ARM release 2.3?
Yeah, we're trying to talk about this today internally. We have a few kind of urgent tasks that we are having to deal with internally first, but we expect to have it done soon, and then we can focus again back on the ARM release. We expect to I'll give a shot on a date, but we expect to be late, maybe in the beginning of the next month, maybe August, beginning of August. I'm sure it will be fine. We'll try to anticipate a little bit, maybe at the end of July, if possible.
Okay. Thank you.
And one thing for me, Daniel, do you think
Yes.
you can add your company under the users or partners? Do you think that's
sure.
possible? Yeah, that's great.
Sure, no problem.
Yep.
Yeah, I can just send a pull request, right?
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you. Okay. I think that was the last item from the agenda for today. Anyone else? Last minute call?
I have a small question actually regarding like the robot accounts. I saw that we're talking about robot accounts today. We kind of have a small request regarding robot accounts. I know that currently it's only useful to pull and push artifacts, but it cannot access the API. Is that correct?
The system level robot accounts has API access. In fact, when you create it, well, it has limited access to a subset of the API that we believe are enough for the robot accounts for what what it's intended to do. And so when you create the robot account and their system view, you can select the API actions, and you can modify those later as well. But if something that you need, if it's an API that you need and if that's not covered today, definitely feel free to log an issue.
Okay, sure. So that was introduced in 2.2, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I think that's it. I think we can give 2 minutes back.
Thank you everyone for attending, and see you next time. And we have the office hours today. Is that true? I'm not
No,
sure.
no office hours.
I think we
Okay,
got,
then-
yeah, those are out.
Yeah, but somehow I have that in my calendar, and I was like, okay, when we.
So
Yeah,
Jonas,
no.
are we planning to bring those back or?
Yeah, that was my next question.
So yes, we might bring them back later this fall with the intent of doing more deep dives into issue discussions and technical documentation.
Okay. If is it going to be US based hours?
So
Or
it
is it-
would
or you
be
think
alternating weeks. So we have the community week meetings bi-weekly. So we would have the office hours at the same time, but during the off weeks. So we would have this time every week. It would either be a community meeting or an office hours.
Okay, great. So it will still be this hour. Sounds good.
Yep. Yep.
All right, thank you. Yeah, have a good one, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Okay,
everyone.
bye-bye.